I know you truly believe in like keeping up an image and being like dressing well and being well, speaking well and everything. Like what's the emphasis behind that?
So I think that changing the way your appearance is the quickest way to change your self-image and what you think of yourself, right? So everything that you possess or you have in your life emits a kind of frequency or an energy, right? So if you want to have positive things in your life, because you can only attract what you are, right? That doesn't mean you have to wear expensive suits or a Rolex or stuff like that, but I believe in those things. I believe in wearing nice clothes, wearing a nice watch and things like that, because of the way it makes me feel. Not about how to impress other people. Obviously, that's a nice side effect, right? Impressing other people is a good thing, I think, because your whole life is dependent on your relationships with other people, so why not impress other people? People like talk about that as if it's a bad thing to try and impress other people. I'm not looking to impress other people because I feel insecure, but it's a nice side effect, right? Why not? But primarily the reason I do it is because it increases my self-confidence, my self-esteem, my self-worth, and how I feel about myself. So why not? And people would say, oh, that's a bit... people might sit there and say, oh, that's insecure or that's shallow. But I mean, the way that I see it is like you want to take every advantage that you can get in life. And notice the only people who say those things are actually super insecure themselves and don't look the way that they want, don't dress the way that they want. And these are the same people who say going to the gym is vain, dressing properly is vain. In my experience, in my opinion, everything that you can do to make yourself feel good about you is only going to increase your attractive magnet, so to speak, your energy, your frequency. And so the better you feel about you, the better your life is going to be. It's very, very simple, right? So me personally, I identified early on that I feel good when I dress like this because I like to dress like this. It's very simple. I like it. I enjoy it. So why not make myself feel good? And so when I dress like this, I like the way I look. I feel good. I feel confident. And so for me, it's just it's a big part benefit, and it's a part of my self-image.
I think energy, high frequency, the words that you use there for me are super important. I wanted to take that a step further when you talk about the way you dress. I believe all the same things. I also believe dressing casual. Like when I dress casual, I still try and look good. I'm not like that, just like shit. But I think the more effort and energy, and that's why most people, this is what I believe, most people shit on it, is because they can't be asked.
Yes.
They're lazy.
It requires effort.
It requires effort. It requires so much effort to be fashionable, style, custom suits. Time. It requires time and effort. But the more energy and effort you put into the way you look, the more you project out to the world. So I think
it's abundance.
Yeah, the abundance of what do we say? Like the 1x energy that you put into something gets 10x out, right? So if you're, as you said, if your life, which you believe it or not, if you want to agree with it or not, your life is dependent on how other people view you. That is it. Your life, the path you're going to take is dependent on how the rest of the world, what they think of you, right? So why not give yourself the best chance and project the best image to get the best out of the world? Because that is what you are going to be judged on, unless you're Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, and even they're still judged. But they surpass that. But if you're down here on the tree, you need that help.
You can't change your genetics or who your parents are or where you were born, but at least you can control that.
And I think, like you say, dressing well, and I've experienced it as well, and taking time, and I mean, when I was 17, 18, I started a clothing store. I've always been into fashion. I've come back to it since fighting, but it's the quickest ROI on anything you're gonna spend. And I think one of the big changes, again, talking about the way that you talk to yourself, is I used to think I don't want to waste money on clothes. I don't want to spend money on clothes. Now I look at it as I'm investing money in myself. That is a very small change.
Absolutely.
But when I invest in a suit, I am getting 10x back from what I put into it. But if you don't look at it from that frame, you just think, oh, and I'm not, again, we don't have to spend money on suits, whatever area you're from, whatever style you're into, whatever it is. If you take the time and the energy and you project it, this is what it is to me, is when I take the time and the energy to get a custom-made suit or to get something custom or specific or buy a nice pair of shoes or whatever it is that I really, really want, I then have to live up to being the man that deserves that thing when I wear it. So when I wear it and I walk around, you are going to be quite like, oh, look at this guy. Who's he think he is? Well, I think I'm this guy because of X, Y, and Z, because I have to uphold that image. You know, you can't, like I said, have a Rolex, have a custom suit and be a bum. It's not possible. So you have to keep that level. So I think it's a physical manifestation of your mental mind. You said the body, the same with the body, like is a physical manifestation of your mentality, right? Of your mind. That is what the body is. If you're lazy, whatever it is. So the same with the way you dress. It's a physical manifestation of your mind. So I want that to be as clean and as highly represented as possible. So I think the energy that you put into things, you're just going to get it back and back and back. And I found that. And I found that more, just want to touch on something else, you can touch on it too, with social media. Because I used to be the guy, everyone will disagree and think I'm lying, but I used to be the guy that hated it. And I would do it as like a...
You're lying.
I would do it as like a... I thought it was a responsibility. When I was fighting the UFC, I'd take pictures with my mates and put it online and have no thought to it, have no intention with it, have no energy, no time spent on it. And I was like... Quite a bit. It was Twitter back in the day when I was in the UFC, so I used to tweet a lot, and I actually quite enjoyed Twitter, and I'm back on it now. I wasn't for a long time, but then when Instagram came along, I would do it, but I would just do it same as everyone else. I would do it no meaning in it. I would just do it because it's the thing to do. Take pictures with my mates and upload them on Instagram. I had no direction, no thought, no nothing. And about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, maybe longer, 10 months ago, I had a chat with one of our friends, Ben, about Instagram and the utility of it, and everything that we just said about the way that you dress and the way that the world views you and it giving you opportunities and time. And it's like, Instagram is a new business card. So if your Instagram is on point and you are projecting the most value you can on Instagram and it's as real as it can be and you are actually that person and your Instagram is perfect, then you are going to attract attention because of it and it's going to bring positivity to your life. If you are downplaying it because you think you're too cool to be, you're just losing opportunities. If you're downplaying the way you dress because you think you're too cool to dress up, you're just losing opportunities. If you're not going to the gym because you think, oh, it's vain, you're just losing out on opportunities.
Which is a cop-out anyway.
It's a cop-out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's all a cop-out. It's all a cop-out. So for me, I think the physical manifestation of your mind is in the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, how your body is, what your Instagram looks like. All these things are just manifestations of, is Instagram physical? No, it's digital, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's all down to, it's just downloading what's in here into the real world. So I think that's something that people need to get over. I don't know how they get over that. Maybe you know.
Well, to what you were saying about being physically fit and dressing better, why would you not want to do that? Why would you not want to have a better life, right? All you're basically saying with that is that I don't want a better life and I don't want to be the best version of myself. So you can call it what you want. Oh, I don't have the money or blah, blah, blah excuses. You can dress, if you've got a nice physique, if you dress in a H&M t-shirt, you will look good, right? So there's so many different ways to do it. So if you're sitting here, like I did a tweet a few months ago and it was like, I put a picture of James Bond and I said, guys, what's stopping you from dressing like this? And I think about 8,000 people replied. And most of the men who replied on it said, I don't have enough money. I don't want to impress other people. I was like, well, good luck being a loser then, mate. You know, because it's like, that's literally your choice how to dress like that. Even when I worked in like the crappiest job or like the start of investment banking, I didn't have a lot of money. I still dressed well every day. I didn't spend the money that I spend on or invest, as you said it quite rightly, on clothes the way I do now. But I still made myself look nice and presentable. And going back to the example of James Bond, right? Do people like James Bond because he looks like a bum? Would they look at him the same way? Absolutely not, right? James Bond, people like James Bond, men, especially women like James Bond, men like James Bond, because he thinks very highly of himself. He's always dressed impeccably. He's got great one-liners. He's like extremely competent in all areas. He's like the ideal that every man aspires to be.